Ayun, so ang topic natin ngayon, ito yung first topic natin sa sa midterm na So financial regulation. So Hazel pa-mute naman. So financial regulation and the central bank. So pwede pakibasa nito, Valdez, Ace Fulgent Valdez.
Sorry, sir.
Kita mo?
Regulatory measures set by World Bank to address certain risks and social factors. Systematic risk, consumer protection, efficiency enhancement, efficiency enhancement, social objectives.
Okay, so nag-set down ng okay, so paki-off na. So okay, nag-set down ng regulatory measures yung World Bank para i-address yung mga risk and social factors. So syempre dito sa financial markets, so meron din naman nagre-regulate kahit naman saan So bakit kailangan may mag-regulate dito sa financial markets? Kasi hindi pwede na may naaabuso at hindi rin pwede na may nang-aabuso. So, i-assume nyo na lang halimbawa na yung bank sa bawat loan nila ang gusto nilang interest ay sobrang taas. So, syempre kawawa naman yung mga borrowers kung walang magre-regulate. Since nasa bank yung power ng paglo-loan, so syempre sila din yung may power to impose interest rates, tama? So ibig sabihin, kung sila yung mag-impose ng interest rates na sobrang taas, baka naman mahirapan ang mga borrowers. So in effect, hindi siya nakakatulong sa financial system kung hindi lalo makabayad yung mga borrowers kasi sobrang taas ng interest rates. Kaya nga meron tayong financial regulation. Paki-off nung mic ninyo. Yun. So kaya nga meron tayong financial regulation para maiwasan yung mga bagay na yon. So when you say regulation, pakibasa naman ito, Aubrey.
Regulation is a process whereby the designated government authority provides oversight and establishes rules for firms in an industry.
So yun. So according to the Public Utility Research Center in the University of Florida, pag daw sinabi mong regulation, it is the process whereby designated government authority provides oversight and establishes rules. Ito yun yung pinaka keyword diyan. Regulation means to establish rules for firms in an industry. So pinag-usapan natin dito sa previous slide, itong apat na to, systemic risk, consumer protection, efficiency enhancement, tsaka social objectives. So ano daw ba yung systemic risk? So pakibasa. Tintin.
Systemic risk, probability of a firm to fail its objective that will result to ripple effect.
Ayun. So kailangan isa sa mga ina-address daw sa financial regulation is yung ma-minimize mo itong systemic risk. Kung saan may probability nga naman na yung mga firm or yung mga bank ay hindi nila ma-meet yung kanilang mga objectives. So ano mangyayari kung lahat ng bangko magsara? Ano mangyayari kung hindi nila ma-meet yung mga objectives nila because of the risk? Ibig sabihin, kawawa naman yung financial system natin, which is kaya nga binuo yung financial system is to provide funds for those fund demanders and para naman doon sa mga fund providers na may paglagyan sila ng pera. So kaya part ng financial regulation is i-minimize itong systemic risk. So when you say consumer protection, pa-continue din.
Consumer protection is a factor to consider that policies enforce assumes the effect to the consumer's welfare.
Ayun. So ibig sabihin, pinoprotektahan lang din yung mga consumers. So patuloy.
Efficiency enhancement. the factor that is considered to ensure the dynamism and agility of the policy to adapt in a fast-changing environment.
Ayun. So sa madaling sabi, hangga't maaari, part ng financial regulation is ma-enhance mo lang yung efficiency. Yun lang yung sinasabi dito. And then, social objectives. Tin?
Social objective is the policy should take into consideration the alignment in the objectives of the society or what is factored as social objectives.
Okay, so thank you. So mamaya mas maiintindihan natin yung bigger picture kung bakit nga kung babalik tayo dito sa slide number 1. Kung bakit nagse-set down ng regulatory measure to address these certain factors.
Sir, excuse me,
Yes.
Jim.
Edison?
Pag-accept nga daw po si Sir Jim.
Oh, wait. Wala siya sa waiting. Ay, teka, ang dami pala. Sorry. Yan, okay na. So, dito na tayo. Financial regulation. So, pakibasa. Ken?
Financial regulation, a type of regulation whereby rules and standards were set to oversight the ability of the companies to establish and maintain appropriate level and capital to sustain its operation. It also includes setting controls over the market factors that will affect the financial sustainability of the firms and players in the industry.
Yun. So, malinaw naman sinabi dito. Pag sinabi daw financial regulation, ibig sabihin, nagse-set ng rules and standards para to oversight the ability of the companies to establish and maintain appropriate level of capital to sustain its operation. So dun sa dun sa previous discussions natin, ma-address to ability of the companies to establish and maintain appropriate level of capital to sustain its operation. Kasi dun sa naging discussion natin last time, dun sa asymmetric information, dun sa merong adverse selection and moral hazard, 'di ba? Ang mangyayari, 'di ba isa dun sa pangit na epekto ng adverse selection is maibigay mo yung loan kung ikaw yung financial institution, maibigay mo yung loan dun sa tao na wala namang capability na magbayad. So dito, kaya nga nire-regulate siya is that hangga't maaari, ang gusto mo is for the companies to establish and maintain appropriate level of capital to sustain its operations. So kagaya ng example natin last time, what if nga naman na ibigay mo yung loan or yung pera doon sa tao na hindi naman magbabayad, which in effect meron siyang bad effect doon sa cash flow sa financial system, which is hindi siya good. Hindi siya maganda sa financial system kasi nga ang goal ng financial system is to help inefficient firms tsaka mapunan mo yung pagkukulang ng iba. Ikaw may sobra-sobra kang resources, ibigay mo dun sa hindi naman ibigay, ipahiram mo dun sa iba para makasustain din sila. So ituloy natin, it also includes setting controls over the market factors that will affect the financial sustainability of the firms and players in the industry. So, question so far? Wala? So, market drivers regulated. So, aba yun. Pakibasa.
Market drivers regulated. In financial markets, some players or firms fail to survive even to comply with the regulation set. The reason is that these firms respond to the following market drivers: competitiveness, market behavior, consistency, and stability.
Ayun. So, tama nga naman. Kahit naman gaano ka sumunod sa batas or sa mga regulation na isineset ng financial system, sa financial regulation, kahit gaano ka pa sumunod dyan, minsan hindi mo maiiwasan na nagfe-fail pa rin yung mga financial institutions, yung mga firms, yung mga companies. Bakit? Kasi hindi sila makalaro dun sa market drivers. Una, kailangan competitive ka. Okay? Kasi dito sa financial markets, marami kang kakompetensya. Pangalawa, merong market behavior. So, i-discuss natin isa-isa yan. Pangatlo, consistency. And number 4 is stability. So when you say competitiveness, ano ibig sabihin ng competitiveness? Jim?
Sir, yung ano po, yung drive nyo po na ano, yung halimbawa po sa isa pong product, yung kailan hindi lang po kayo i-stay doon po sa kailangan po may innovation po.
Yun, tama. So ibig sabihin, iniisip mo rin yung galaw ng mga kakompetensya mo. Dapat mag-survive ka, tama? Kasi nga, it's a competition. So eto, pakibasa nito, Jim. Meron ditong illustration. So company A is a brokerage company.
Company A brokerage company, imposes 1% brokerage fee it is client. Company B, as a new player, imposes a brokerage fee of 0.75%. For every transaction it closes. Company C, another player, enters the market offering brokerages fee of 70%. Company A kept its price policy.
Okay, Jim. So tanungin kita. So, company A is a brokerage company. So, i-assume natin na broker siya ng stocks. So, ibig sabihin, ako, customer mo, every time bumibili ako ng stocks, nag-i-impose ka ng 1% fee or service fee. Okay? So, ngayon, meron kang kakompetensya pumasok, nag-o-offer ng mas mababang fee, and then may isa pa na nag-o-offer ulit ng mas mababa pa. So, assume natin na si company A, si B at si C, nag-o-offer lang naman sila, pare-parehas lang naman sila ng service na ino-offer. Ako as a customer, ano yung most likely gagawin ko kung ito yung nangyari? Jim?
Sir, kahit po yung quality ng service parehas lang din po.
Parehas lang.
Ano, yung siguro po sa part po ng ano ng buyer ng customer po, doon po sila pupunta sa company C kasi po mas maliit po yung ino-offer nilang brokerage fee na additional. So yung company A po, gagawin po nila para yung customer po nila ay mapanatili sa kanila, tatapatan po nila yung company C na hindi po sila nalulugi at the same time po, profitable pa rin po sila.
Okay, so tama. Exactly, tama yung sinabi ni Jim. So, ang point of view ng customer, parehas lang naman pala ng ino-offer na services tong mga to. Ba't ako magse-settle dito sa mahal ang fee? Tama? Di sana yung mga natitipid ko sa fee na ibibili ko na rin ng stocks. Okay? So, tama din yung sinabi ni Jim na syempre, competition to eh. Anong gagawin ni company A? A-adjust ako sa competition. Ito na ang labanan ngayon, no? May nag-o-offer na ng 0.70 na mas maliit, 0.70% na brokerage fee. So kung yan yung labanan ngayon at i-stay ko na 1% ako, malamang ubos yung customers ko, tama? So yan. So in this case, so pakibasa, Jim.
In this case, assuming they provide same level of service, company A facing high risk of society will not adjust to the competition in the new player lower rate. Government in this case may provide support to company A to enable the company to compete should there are internal consideration or risk that they assume that can be passed on in other means.
Yun. So malinaw naman sinabi dito, no? Pero eto guys, medyo malilito kayo dito or mapapaisip kayo dito. So government in this case, paki-off na nung mic. Ito, government in this case may provide support to company A. So ang nangyayari, susuportahan pala ni government si company A to enable the company to compete should there are internal consideration or risk that they assume that can be passed on other means. So sa madaling sabi guys, pwede nating i-assume dito na dito sa illustration na to, si company A yung pinakamalaking brokerage company. Okay? Or pwedeng siya yung pinakasikat. Siya yung may pinakamaraming customer. So ngayon, dahil may pumasok na mga bagong player, ito, new player daw siya. At si company C, another new player. Mag-mute lang ako. Ayan. So si company C, another new player. So ibig sabihin, may chance na si company A kung mag-stay siya as 1%, malamang maubos yung customer niya, tama? So ngayon, kung mauubos ang customer niya, hindi niya kayang mag-adjust sa competition na ganito lang yung labanan ng fees. Ang mangyayari, more likely malulugi yung company A and more likely magsasara yan kung hindi niya masustain yung competition. Kung maubos ang customer niya, paano nga naman siya kikita kung wala siyang customer? So dito papasok yung government. So, government in this case may provide support. So eto guys, meron mamaya tayong i-discuss na too big to fail policy kung saan talagang tinutulungan ng government yung mga big financial institutions. Okay? So kasi hangga't maaari, ang point of view ng government dito is that ito yung parang ito yung star player ko eh. Ito yung bumubuhay dito isa to sa bumubuhay dito sa industriya. So hindi ko hahayaan na nababagsak to. Hindi ko hahayaan na na magsasara na lang to basta-basta. So magbibigay siya ng support sa company A. Okay? So question so far? Raise a hand lang kung may question. So, if nagigets nyo naman, type gets. Ayun, so may mga nagta-type na ng gets. So, kung may question, wag mahiya ha. So, pangalawa, na-discuss na natin tong competitiveness. So, kasunod, market behavior. So, syempre, may tao nga, may behavior eh. Pati market. So, pakibasa naman. Bugs. Andiyan si Bugs. Sige, si Hazel na lang. Hazel Villanueva. Pakibasa, market behavior.
Market behavior. The behavior in the market can be demonstrated under integrity of activities and integrity of the representation. Regulation will come into play to address failures in the market by setting parameters to ensure that firms will comply with certain standards to ensure integrity of the firms and level of playing field.
So, paki-explain. Hazel, ano pagkakaintindi mo dyan?
Ano po, market behavior daw po is nakadepende dun sa mga activities or yun sa ano po, yun sa mga pinapakita po nila or behavior, ay, pinapakita nila sa market. Sorry.
So, any idea pa? So, behavior in the market can be demonstrated on their integrity of activities. So, when you say integrity, ano ba ibig sabihin? Jim. Wala si Jim. So, Limzel.
Sir, ano po yun?
So, when you say integrity, ano ibig sabihin ng integrity, Jim?
Ang ano po, yung quality po nung nung activities or kaya po nung representation po ng isang business po.
Okay, so when you say integrity, parang ano siya, free from bias. Okay? So, ano pagkakaintindi mo dito? The market behavior in the market can be demonstrated on their integrity of activities and their integrity on their representation.
Sir, yun nga po, yung the quality of being, yung honesty po, yung having a strong moral, yun po.
So, ibig sabihin, let's say, i-assume natin, ang business na pinag-uusapan natin dito is yung bank. So, syempre, ikaw as a customer, nagre-rely ka sa integrity ng activities nila at saka integrity on their representation. So, when you say integrity on their representation, ang ibig sabihin lang nito is yung informations na binibigay nila sa'yo. Tama? So, ngayon. Okay. So, okay na, Jim. Thank you. So, ngayon, ibig sabihin, ikaw as an investor or as a player in the financial market, so information is vital sa atin. Kung tayo ay mga investor or tayo mga borrower man or tayo man yung mga lender, information is vital sa atin. So syempre, yung market behavior, it is demonstrated by the integrity of activities tsaka integrity nung when you say integrity of activities, ito nga yung when it comes dun sa activities na ginagawa, sa operations na ginagawa, and then dito sa integrity of representation is this it's more of the information or the data na available. So kung puro bias or puro mali yung mga information na binibigay, so malamang dun talaga magfe-fail ang isang business. So regulation will come into play to address failures in the market by setting parameters to ensure that firms will comply with certain standards to ensure integrity of the firms and level the playing field. So kasi nga, 'di ba, kung babalik tayo dito, ito some players failed to survive kahit daw nagko-comply sila sa regulation set kasi una, hindi sila makalaro sa competition. Pangalawa, yung market behavior. So ang hirap nga naman i-filter out kung alin yung tamang information at alin yung mali. Kaya part ng regulation is that they are setting parameters para lang ma-ensure na na-apply itong mga integrities na to. Okay, so malinaw? Wala si Ken. Okay, so malinaw. So sino may tanong so far? Okay, so ngayon, so to ensure integrity, ano yung isineset ni government? So pakibasa naman, Bridget.
Government normally sets full disclosure of information, prohibition of insider trading, control on new players, setting minimum capital requirements, and minimum governance rules.
Yun. So to ensure integrity on activities and integrity on operations, si government, ano yung parameters na sineset nila? Dapat i-disclose mo lahat. Okay? So meron kang tinatawag na full disclosure of information. Ipagbawal na natin yung insider trading. So when you say insider trading, parang manipulation siya eh. Manipulation siya ng mga insiders. So more likely nangyayari yan sa stock market. So control on new players. So hindi rin basta-basta pag may parang hinihigpitan nila yung mga requirements para sa mga new players na papasok. Okay, so kung mahigpit nga naman ang requirements at hindi basta-basta makakapasok ang mga new players, so naaano nila yung integrity. Na-address nila yung integrity. Kasi paano nga naman kung merong bagong financial institution na pumasok, hindi siya nire-regulate. Walang regulation na nagagawa or walang parameters na sinet yung government. So ano mangyayari? So basta na nakapasok yung isang financial institution na may planong masama, may planong mangamkam lang pala ng pera sa mga depositors. So isa 'yon. Kaya ano sila ng parameters to control sa new players. And then setting minimum capital requirements. So syempre nga naman, kung magpapasok ka ng new players, hangga't maaari, kung hihigpitan mo din lang naman, hihigpitan mo lang din naman ang pagpasok ng new players, edi mag-set ka na ng minimum capital requirements. Baka naman 50,000 lang yung capital ng financial institution, pinayagan mo na siya maging new player. So more more likely nga naman, magfe-fail din yan agad. So ang mangyayari pa, kung mag-fail, kawawa naman yung mga depositor niya kung bigla na lang magsasara yung bangko. And meron ding minimum governance rules. Okay? So consistency. Mary Grace Encarnacion, pakibasa.
Consistency in the market is normally demonstrated
So
to their
Mary Grace,
information.
pa-interrupt lang. When you say consistent, ano ba ibig sabihin? Pag sinabing consistent,
Ano po sir, para pong agreement?
agreement? Ano pa? Ano
Yes
pa yung ano? When you say consistent, Mary Grace, ibig sabihin niya is parang uniformity or parang paulit-ulit mo siyang ginagawa. So halimbawa, araw-araw kang pumapasok ng 7 AM, dire-diretso, ibig sabihin consistent ka, 7 AM lagi yung pasok mo. So yun yung ibig sabihin ng consistency. So pakibasa na rin, Mary Grace.
Consistency in the market is normally demonstrated to their information disclosure and policies. Information is a vital asset in the financial markets. Government role is to set standards, to regulate and ensure that information provided in the market are fair, consistent, and conservative. The issue is that the company's ability to provide a fair and consistent information. Trust of the clients is dictated on how the firm was able to maintain its rapport in terms of the information shared.
So how do you understand that? Mary Grace, anong pagkakaintindi mo dyan?
Siguro po sir is pagpapanatili po or keeping with a regular strategy not only to helps a wait po. Siguro sir, keeping with a regular strategy to not only to helps to create a better customer experience, but also it helps the company to build their credibility, reputation, and how their brand trust. Yun lang po.
Okay. So consistency, sinabi nga dito, so consistency in the market daw, it is demonstrated to their information disclosure and policies. So ito, binanggit ko to kanina, yung information nga naman dito sa financial market is a vital asset. Okay? So ano ang role ng government? Mag-set ka ng standards para ma-regulate mo at ma-ensure mo na yung information na umiikot sa market are fair, consistent, and conservative. Kumbaga, dapat yung information na umiikot sa market na ginagamit ng mga financial players ay patas, totoo. Pangalawa, consistent. Kumbaga, pag sinabing valid itong transaksyon na ganito, as long as walang nagbabagong batas or walang ibang nagsasabi or walang rule or walang bagong rulings na sinasabi na hindi na to valid, hangga't maaari, valid pa yan and conservative. So the issue is that the company's ability to provide a fair and consistent information, trust of the client is dictated on how the firm was able to maintain its rapport in terms of information shared. So syempre, you will gain trust dun sa mga kliyente mo. Kung ikaw ay financial institution, so kung nagbibigay ka nga naman ng tamang information sa kanila, kung ibinibigay, halimbawa, ganito. Halimbawa, ikaw sobrang conservative mo na investor. So sabi ko, hindi ako maglalagay ng pera ko doon sa bangko na palugi. Doon sa bangko na na pangit yung management. Kasi bihira lang naman sa tao yung reviewin ko muna kaya yung financial statement ni BDO bago ko ilagay yung pera ko. Reviewin ko muna kaya yung financial statement ni BPI or ng ibang bangko, and then kung alin yung pinakamaganda, doon ako maglagay ng pera. So, Bihira naman yung magaganon pa, tama? So, syempre, saan ba tayo? So, syempre, ang mangyayari dyan, guys, last 5 minutes, ano? So, mapuputol to maya-maya, pero magsasend ako ng panibago. So, ang mangyayari dyan, so, syempre, they are providing information. So, let's say, ganun yung mindset mo. Pag-aaralan ko ng mabuti bago ako mag-invest dito. Pag-aaralan ko ng mabuti bago ko ilagay yung 1 million peso ko dito sa mga bank na to. So, ngayon, halimbawa, one of the banks, nagbigay sila ng information. So, binigay nila, ito yung, kasi nanghihingi ka eh. So, bigay sila ng, ito yung financial statement namin. We are earning. So, ang aming gross revenue is 30 billion and ang aming net income is 1 billion. So, kung walang integrity dun sa information, or kung hindi ka makapag-rely dun sa information, so let's say, ang nangyari, yun yung pinaresent niya sa'yo. Uy, kumikita yung company. Biruin mo, 30 billion yung revenue niya lagi. Tapos meron siyang 1 billion na net income. So, ibig sabihin, profitable. Profitable yung bank na to. So, dito na lang ako maglagay. So, i-assume natin na hindi siya credible. Mali. Walang integrity dun sa information na pinrovide sa'yo ni bank. So, more likely, nag-invest ka sa kanila. Let's say, meron akong 5 million pesos. Ilalagay ko to lahat dito sa bank na to kasi profitable to eh. Ilalagay ko to lahat sa investment na to. Yung pala, ang totoong buhay pala, mali pala yung binibigay na information sa'yo. So, anong mangyayari? More likely, kung mamalas-malasin ka, hanggang sa malugi na yung bank, so sayang yung pera mo. Baka hindi na maibalik. Or kung maibalik man, nilagay mo kasi yung 5 million mo, ilan lang ba yung covered ni PDIC? Kung biglang malugi yung bank, 'di ba? 500k lang yata. 500k lang yung i-insured ka ni PDIC. So kahit 5 million yung pera mo, 500k lang yung babalik sa iyo. So, ibig sabihin, mawawala na yung trust ng client sa iyo kung hindi ka makapagbigay kung wala kang integrity sa iyong representation at hindi ka consistent. Kaya sinasabi dito, inire-regulate nila na yung information provided in the market are fair, consistent, and conservative. Okay, so malinaw? So, sino may tanong so far? Mapuputol na ito, last 2 minutes. Pero sige, i-ano natin to last one, kaya pa siguro. So, stability. So, kasi nga kung babalik tayo dito, ito, kaya daw nagfe-fail yung mga firms even they comply with the regulation set kasi ito yung isa sa mga driver is yung stability. So, kung babalik tayo dito sa stability, most of the players fail to survive because of their inability to forecast and to mitigate the risk. Okay, so merong risk, hindi nila na-forecast, hindi nila agad na-foresee kung ano yung mangyayari. So, hindi nila magawang maging stable as a player in the market. So, when you say mitigate the risk, to lessen the effect of the market risk. Okay? So, the regulation must be able to protect the interest of the client as well as the companies to enable their corporate sustainability. Ito, may tinatawag din tayong systematic instability. When you say systematic instability, it is a challenge or threat whereby it arises where a segment or a firm was not able to meet its commitment because of their failure to address the risk of the market. So yun yung tawag doon. So may mga risk kasi talaga sa market. Ano yung isang risk sa market? Ito, anuhin natin. So at the end of the day, the risk arises is the default risk of the company to a certain repayments, thereby disrupting the continuous flow of finances in the industry. So isa yun talaga sa risk na dapat ma-mitigate mo. Yung risk na maipahiram mo yung pera, maibigay mo yung pera dun sa may malaking chance na who cannot ascertain repayments. So yun yung risk. So kaya nga hindi nila magawang maging stable kasi hindi nila na-mitigate yung risk na to. So paano ba i-mitigate yung risk na to? Di higpitan mo yung i-investigate dun sa mga nanghihiram sa'yo. Pangalawa, di wag mong ipahiram lahat sa isang malaking player lang. I-diversify mo. Okay? Isa yun sa mga pwede mong gawin to mitigate the risk. Anyways, meron tayong question set mamaya. So ito guys, tingin ko patapos na. So putulin ko muna, send akong bago.